Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Our group will present about alternative energy sources. Alternative energy sources are known as the source of energy that is contrasting with fossil fuels. It has started in Europe over 2000 years ago. One of the examples of past event that used renewable source was happened when the Greek made use of water wheel to grind wheat in flour. Now, the same idea is used like hydropower, which is used to generate electricity for us. In general, the alternative energy sources are believed as a renewable source for us. Some of the examples of alternative energy are wind, nuclear, and biomass. Besides that, non-renewable, in the other hand, is the energy composed of natural gas, coal, fossil fuels, and oil. In this presentation, we will go one by one about alternative energy sources.
There are two types of energy resource, which is renewable and non-renewable energy. As you can see on the figure here, there are two different types of energy source and its example. For renewable resource, it will be solar, biomass, wind, geothermal, hydropower. For non-renewable energy, oil, coal, nuclear, and natural gas. We mostly depend on the non-renewable energy as our main energy resource, especially in Malaysia. For instance, 58% of current Malaysia energy resource came from natural gas. We can see here, even if we mostly depend on non-renewable energy, there are a few current issues of this type of resource. These issues may consider us to find an alternative resource in generating energy. Firstly, the non-renewable resource will be depleted in the future if we are continuously using it. This is because this type of resource is very limited, as they were formed millions of years ago with a lot of biochemical and physical process. Next, this resource can also be harmful to living organisms such as us, human, animal, and plants. The gas, chemicals, and waste released from this energy can cause health hazard, disease, and even death. Furthermore, there will be depletion of ozone layer if these resources are overused. Many factories release oxides and chemicals which will deplete the ozone layer. Thus, the earth and living organisms living on it will receive more and more ultraviolet or UV rays. These UV rays can be harmful to life. Last but not least, to gain this non-renewable energy, it will be time-consuming. It took a lot of process, cost, and human energy to produce. Take exploration and production of oil and gas for example. It took decades to plan, just to gain resource in which we don't know when we'll be gone from Earth.
Factors. There are several factors that lead us to find an alternative energy resource, and one of it are to reduce the use of non-renewable sources. We all know that we now still using a non-renewable sources such as oil, coal, natural gas, and the most dangerous non-renewable sources that are used by some other countries are nuclear. And we know these non-renewable sources will keep decreasing from time to time, and when all countries are still depend on these non-renewable sources, this may lead to a war to happen between two other countries. Why I mean by a war can happen? Because it depends on the countries how they want to get the sources. Some may want to use force, some may not. And that is why that one of the factors are to reduce the use of non-renewable sources. Second, the less cost for using other sources. This is because we all know that these non-renewable sources need a longer time to process, and when it's meant by a longer time, it leads to a higher cost for them to extract these non-renewable sources, such as oil and gas. Oil and gas are divided into three streams, that is upstream, midstream, and downstream. And to complete all these streams, it takes a longer time, and it also cause the cost of manufacture become more higher and higher. And that is why non-renewable sources has higher cost for manufacture, while renewable sources just take a lower cost. Next, number 3, the factors that also lead to alternative energy resource are global warming. As all we know, global warming is not a problem that is still new. It still happens until now. And we also know, based on some of our research, that a lot of our ozone layer has become thinner and thinner. And because of this, it causes that Earth temperature become higher and higher. When it become higher, it will lead to the increasing of the sea water level. Why it increases the sea water level? This is because, as we all know, because of the global warming and it causes a temperature in Earth become higher, the ice in Antarctica has begun to melting, just like what you can see at the picture on the slide. And the melting of the ice in Antarctica has caused the sea water level to become increasing year by year, and this is the most important factors because it can cause the area of some other country become smaller and smaller because of the sea water level keep increasing.
Okay, now I will talk about the challenges involved in creating and using the alternative energy source. So besides all the goods that we could see in the existence of alternative energy source, we also need to perceive from the other perspectives. Although the alternative energy source is a renewable source, that doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't have challenges in creating or using it. So here I come up with 3 examples of the challenges, but I will be more focusing on the first point as we are given limited time to present. Okay, so one of the challenges that related to alternative energy source is that the availability of power to generate the energy. So as we all know, the solar energy is one of the alternative energy source that has been widely used in many countries. Okay, and we know it generates electricity from the sunlight. So now, what if there is no sunlight, like during our night time? What if there is no sunlight? So without a doubt, the solar system cannot generate the electricity for us. So this is one of the challenges in using alternative energy source in our daily life, because the source has a problem with the availability of power. Okay, although the solar energy system has a capacity to contain a lot of energy, I believe that how much we consume the electricity during the daytime is not applicable during our nighttime. Okay, because during daytime we have sunlight, so how much we gonna use the electricity, we still have the source to supply the electricity, but during our nighttime we have to cut the usage of electricity, such as watching television, using washing machine, or all those uh, machinery that using electricity. We have to minimize that because we don't have the sunlight. Thus, we are not having enough electricity. So that's all for me. Thank you.
How to overcome the challenges. So before this, we already heard about the challenges in using the devices of the alternative energy resources. So in this part, I will talk about the solution for the challenges. So the first solution for the first challenge is by using the storage system. The storage system stores the power extracted from the devices. The power that have been stored can be used when there is no energy sources, such as at night. So having the storage system will increase the availability of power to generate energy. The second solution for the second challenge is by using the improved device. As we all know, the engineers and scientists have done many improvements to make sure the device suit to the place where the device is used. For example, in terms of wind turbine, the blades of the wind turbine have low rotational inertia, which allow the turbine to rotate or accelerate even in light wind. So with this improvement, we can use the devices at the place where it's suited to be used. The last solution for the last challenge is seek out for cooperation. The last challenge is about the cost in creating the device of alternative energy sources such as wind turbine and solar. So what we can do is we can seek out for corporation for any banks of or company. When we do this, we can minimize our expenses that we need to pay in order to create the or build the devices. So that's all for the how to overcome the challenges. In conclusion, renewable resources are those resources that are easily replenished. However, when consumption of these resources exceeds the rate at which they are replenished, the resource may be exhausted. Ongoing concerns about climate change have made alternative energy sources an important component of the world energy consumption portfolio. By replacing fossil fuels in the power generation industry and in the transport sector, renewable energy technologies could minimize carbon dioxide emissions. Alternative energy provides many benefits, which is very important in maintaining the ecosystem of the environment. It is seen as the best way to deal with the world energy crisis for future generations. There are many types of alternative energy that can be replaced the non-renewable source such as wind, sunlight, and wave. Furthermore, the government must think of alternative ways to replace non-renewable energy. This can indirectly reduce pollution as well as increase employment opportunities in the field of technology to the community. This energy generally did not require a lot of maintenance. So that's all from us. Thank you.